F1 gaming has seen its fair share of highs and lows, but there is one title that has remained a curious blip on the radar, one that had potential to change everything: F1 Race Stars. Released in 2012, it was revolutionary in its own way. It wasn't just another F1 20-something simulation title, nor was it a pure arcade racer like what we saw with F1 2009 on the Wii. No, F1 Race Stars was something completely different, and that was a full-blown kart racing game bearing the official F1 license. Think Mario Kart, but swap out the banana peels and green shells for what were KERS boosts at the time and pit lane repairs. A kart racer from an actual global motorsport franchise? That's not just a rarity, it's basically a unicorn. And yet here we are, over a decade later, and F1 Race Stars has been relegated to the annals of racing game history, with no follow-up, no spiritual successor, and barely a whisper about its legacy. I guess outside of like our other videos where he goes, look at this crazy old F1 game, but that's about all we get. So what happened? Why didn't F1 Race Stars leave the cultural impression that I think it deserved? And more importantly, why do I think now is the perfect time for F1 to revisit this idea? To understand why F1 Race Stars was so groundbreaking, we need to look at the context of its release. By 2012, F1 games were firmly entrenched into the simulation, or at least simcade genre. Codemasters, the studio behind F1 Race Stars and every F1 game since 2009, was already producing annual F1 sims aimed at hardcore racing fans. But F1 Race Stars, this was a hard pivot in the other direction. The game reimagined Formula One in a way we'd never seen before. Drivers were transformed into exaggerated, cartoonish versions of themselves, complete with oversized heads and cheeky personalities. Circuits like Silverstone and Monaco were turned into fantastical racetracks full of loop-the-loops, shortcuts, and hazards. DRS became speed boosts, pit stops were turned into quick repair zones, and in a clever twist, damage actually mattered. If your car took too many hits, your performance would take a hit too. This wasn't just a reskin of Mario Kart, it was a kart racer with its own unique identity, drawing directly from F1's DNA. So why did this concept not stick? Well, part of the issue was timing. In 2012, F1's global footprint just wasn't what it is today. Yes, the sport had passionate fans, but it hadn't yet broken into the mainstream in places like the United States, and it certainly wasn't the cultural juggernaut we see now. The game sold modestly, but it didn't set the world on fire. Critics praised its creativity, but noted its somewhat shallow gameplay loop, limited customization options, and lack of online longevity. It's worth mentioning that kart racers as a genre were already crowned at that time. Mario Kart dominated, as it always does, while games like Sonic All-Stars Racing offered a strong competition. For many players, F1 Race Stars felt like a novelty, fun for a few hours, but not something to return to again and again. But here's the thing. F1 Race Stars wasn't just competing with kart racers, it was competing with itself. Codemasters was releasing annual F1 sims alongside Race Stars, and for the more hardcore F1 audience, the latter probably felt too whimsical, too childlike. Meanwhile, the casual gaming audience, families, younger players, weren't necessarily tuned into the world of F1 at that time. But here's where things get exciting. Fast forward to today, and F1 is in a completely different space. The Netflix series Drive to Survive has transformed the sports image, making it a must-watch drama for millions of new fans worldwide. F1 has exploded in markets like United States and Asia, and its younger, more diverse audience is exactly the demographic a game like F1 Race Stars could target. Imagine this, an F1 Race Stars 2 built for the modern era. The game could include an expanded roster of drivers and teams, tracks from every corner of the globe, and dynamic live service updates to reflect the real F1 season. Add in cross-platform play, deeper customization options, and robust online multiplayer, and you've got a recipe for success. But here's another angle. Mario Kart, yes, obviously, the king of kart racers, is still on its throne. But let's be honest, Mario Kart 8 has been running laps around itself for over a decade. Is it a fantastic game? Yes, but it's also a known quantity. Nintendo hasn't announced a new Mario Kart yet, and I'm saying yet because obviously we're in the middle of a load of Switch 2 leaks, rumors, whatever else. Obviously, we are expecting a new Mario Kart to come with the Switch 2, but given Nintendo's usual timelines, we can expect that we won't see one until their next console drops. This is the perfect window for F1 Race Stars to make a comeback. Unlike Mario Kart, which is locked to Nintendo platforms, F1 Race Stars could launch on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, even cloud gaming services. It could be the first truly global kart racing phenomenon, accessible to everyone, everywhere. There's also the broader cultural argument here. F1 has been working hard to attract younger fans, but outside of the Netflix show, most of its efforts have been tied to the main racing series. An F1 Race Stars revival could introduce kids and families to the sport in a way that's fun, accessible, and completely non-intimidating. Picture this. A 10-year-old plays F1 Race Stars for the first time, falls in love with the tracks and characters, and decides to watch a real Grand Prix. Maybe they recognise the Monaco Grand Prix from the game, or they pick Max Verstappen as their favourite driver because of his cartoon counterpart. That is how you build lifelong fans. F1 Race Stars wasn't perfect, but it was bold, it was fun, and most importantly, it was different. In a world where licensed sports games often play it safe, this was a game that dared to take risks. Now, more than ever, F1 has the global audience, the cultural momentum, and the gaming infrastructure to make a kart racer work. Whether it's as a spiritual successor or a full-on sequel, I think it's time for F1 to revisit Race Stars. Because let's be real, Mario Kart has had the crown for long enough. But I would love to know what you guys think. Do you think F1 Race Stars should make a return? Did you enjoy F1 Race Stars, or have you never ever played it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's start a discussion. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.